Hi, I'm Sandy Zuniga, the founder of Colorado Springs Town Tidings. Be in the know, on the go for all things Colorado Springs delivered right into your inbox. Today, in our local business spotlight, I'm excited to welcome optometrist, sorry, Dr. Sara Johnson from the Eye Care Center. And Sara is actually, we're going to have a storm coming out. So this is her day off, and she was graciously coming on with me. And she was actually outside getting her garden ready. You know, we all want to get that ready so we can have lots of things growing. So welcome, Sara.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How's it
Yeah,
outside now?
it's very nice out right now. It's getting a little bit windy. So just trying to get things cleaned up a little bit before it snows, I
Right.
think. I think
Yep,
it's gonna snow.
we're gonna have a couple of inches tomorrow. Hopefully it's warm enough that it'll be nice moisture for us and not, icy and that kind of thing. But we'll
Yeah.
have to see. So I was very excited to have you on. It this is eye care is very important in general. And when you contacted me, I thought this was going to be great. Where is the location of the eye care center?
We are downtown. We're at Colorado and Weber Street.
Okay, and that's just east of Nevada and south of Colorado Avenue.
Y- yes.
Okay,
I'm trying to think of my directions right now.
that's great. And so you are not a native to Colorado Springs. You came from Illinois, didn't you?
Yes, I'm from Illinois. I moved to Colorado Springs in 2009. So I've been here for a little bit.
Great. So where in Illinois did you grow up?
Rockford, just a little bit
Okay,
north of Chicago.
right.
So,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
familiar. I spent a little time in Illinois, probably about 9 years in the Schaumburg, Wheaton
Yep.
area. So, you were up that way.
Yeah.
Great. So what brought you to Colorado Springs?
I just wanted a little change of scenery. I wanted some nature. I had some friends and some cousins actually who live here. And so I just wanted to have a little change of pace.
Great. So had you visited before and then said, "Oh, I like this. I want to come back"?
Yeah, I've been here. I had visited here before, so
Perfect.
yeah.
That's similar what I did when I came to Colorado too. Although I first visited in Winter Park and I love that. But then Colorado Springs has a really good economy, and or at least when I came here, which was a little earlier than you did, and the income was pretty good, and it was just uh, the cost of living was reasonable. So it just kind of went in and sounds like that was a similar reason for you, plus the nature.
Mhm.
Yeah, great. So then when you got here, did you already have your degree?
I did have my degree, but I did not have a job. I just moved here and then I found a job.
Okay.
So it worked
I did
out.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
So you had your degree and then you were looking for an eye care place to work. And so kind of tell me a little bit about the story on how you got to Eye Care Center. And is that the only place you've worked
It
when
is
you came here?
not.
Okay.
I had done fill-in work before I joined Eye Care Center. So I was working just whenever other optometrists needed vacations, I was working for them and things like that. And then I actually met the previous owner of Eye Care Center of Colorado Springs, and he invited me to interview with them. And so I joined Eye Care Center in 2010, and then worked alongside Dr. Reed Bro for a few years, and then I became a partner with
Oh,
him in 2014.
okay.
So.
And then was it just the two of you at the time, or were there other people coming in and out, other doctors?
It was the two of us for about 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then he, so he owned the business, right? Okay.
he
And
did.
then he decided to retire. I guess he knew that it was going to be in good hands.
He actually retired in 2021.
Right.
Yeah.
So was he grooming you for taking over?
Well, I joined him in 2014 as his partner, and
Right.
then we worked alongside each other until 2021, and he decided to retire at that time. Yeah.
Great. So then you how many doctors do you have in there?
There are three of us currently.
Okay. And in general, what makes, because there are a lot of other eye clinics and stuff out there, what makes yours stand out in terms of a patient experience?
Well, we're a fully women-owned business currently, so we're really excited about that. Our associate is also a woman, female. Um, we we really cultivate our culture, and it's important to us that patients do have a good experience and that they feel like we always find a unique solution for them. So we do see a lot of people who are possibly turned away by other optometrists. We kind of welcome a challenge, um, as far as people who may have difficult prescriptions or difficult eye conditions that make it hard for them to wear contact lenses or certain things like that.
Great. That is perfect.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you, what unique challenging eye conditions does your clinic successfully treat in general? And I know that's kind of broad because there are so many. In fact, any of our viewers have no idea the magnitude of the challenges the eyes have, and you may be at a point where you're not feeling it yet, but as we age, and I hate to say it because I don't want to admit that I'm getting old and my eyes are getting old, but there are challenges that happen in different stages of our lives, you know, in addition to maybe something you were born with or something. So that is, if you can talk a little bit about that and kind of educate some of the viewers about different of the challenging eye conditions that you have experienced and that you're successfully treating.
Well, we currently have a high percentage of patients with corneal disease. There's a condition, actually a congenital condition called keratoconus. We treat that really frequently. We also treat people who are post-refractive surgery who have declined after their surgeries. Those patients sometimes have a really hard time getting a prescription that they're comfortable with after, several years after surgery. We treat, patients all at all ends of the spectrum as far as age. So once people, get a little bit older, they start getting cataracts, and we end up referring them to cataract surgeons. We co-manage the condition. So when after they're finished with surgery, we'll do the post-op exams and make sure that they're happy with everything, that it healed properly, and that they have the correct prescription so that they can function and see well after surgery. Um, yeah, I think that's basically.
Well, what is refractive surgery? Is that what you call
So
it?
yeah, refractive surgeries, that would be LASIK, PRK, any, so back in the 80s, they used to do radial keratotomies, and they would create spoke incisions in the corneas. And some people find after they've had those surgeries that they have fluctuating vision throughout the day. So we're able to find a solution for them so that they have a steadier vision as the day goes on.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know about that. And you know, I remember the 80s because I was a teenager in them. So, you never know. What the spoke surgery was that the beginning of the LASIK surgeries?
That was the beginning of refractive surgeries. That's where it really started out before LASIK.
Okay, so that started first and then LASIK. I remember hearing about LASIK, and my issue is I have starring in general with lights, and so it's really bad at night. And even as a teenager, I didn't realize that I had eye issues until I was driving and a tractor trailer was in front of me. And I didn't know it was there until we were stopped at a light and I was like right on its tail, because the lights were so far apart and they were starring that my perception was off. And I was like, holy cow, what the heck is this? So at that time, I was doing eye um, exercises. I forget where I went, but I had prisms. So they were, trying to refract and or just get my eyes to function on their own. I don't think it really helped with my vision at all, but by golly, those pictures with all the pixelated stuff, and if you look at them long enough, you can actually see the picture. I was a whiz at that. It really like got me
Got
to do
really good at those.
exactly. But I don't think that, helped. And then I had trouble seeing, further away. But to this day, I have a problem at night and I haven't found a solution as far as, the glare resistant lenses now that they didn't have them necessarily back in the 80s, but that I remember. That helps a little bit. And I've tried those yellow like sunglass things or whatever that you put on them and stuff. I don't have a solution for that. Do you have any tips for me because I'm not the only one.
No, you're not the only one. A lot of people struggle with night vision. I think that we probably would need to do an eye exam and check and see if you have an uncorrected astigmatism or if there's any lens opacities inside your eye and things like that. So then we're able to go use that information and recommend filters and solutions based on that.
No?
Yeah,
Well, honestly, I think I may be making an appointment.
I'd love to see you.
Yeah, so that that's a problem. So that's not an easy fix then, right?
As far as the
As
the glare,
yeah.
a lot of people do struggle with night vision.
Yeah.
But
So it's
yeah,
you have to have a good relationship to your optometrist and really kind of get deep down to see what might work because I'm assuming no one size fits all.
no, yeah, there isn't.
Okay. And also I am very familiar with keratoconus because my husband has it and
Oh,
he's had two corneal transplants.
yep.
So that is
Two
crazy.
already. Okay.
Yep. That was
Yeah.
about 15 years ago, maybe.
Uh-huh.
So it was, if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's basically your cornea becomes a cone and it just keeps going that way. And oh my goodness, I used to get annoyed, and it's not his fault, but he could not use the soft contacts because that would go to the cone. So he had the hard ones, but they would pop out all the time because of that when it got so bad. So he would be losing that, and those contacts were not cheap either.
Mm-mm.
So it was tough. And so for you, you kind of specialize in people who have have that. So kind of going through that with them and getting the right fit for things because he couldn't wear the glasses because that does
No,
not do anything. The cones are still there, so glasses don't help. You have to have contacts.
you do. You really need contacts to see clearly. Luckily, now we don't have to use those tiny contacts anymore, the ones that eject from your eyes. Some people still use them, they prefer them, but the majority of the time we use scleral lenses and they do stay on the eye. I don't know if your husband has those
He
now.
does. He
He
does
does.
still.
Okay.
But he can also use glasses now. Thank goodness.
Oh,
So
because of the
those,
transplant. Good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he still has issues and stuff. Just we have to be careful with his cornea. I don't know. Even with the transplant, though, you could still have it, I think,
Yes.
because it's like the condition of the eye, not just the cornea, but because the cornea becomes a cone shape, you have to do something if it gets that bad with that. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, you're right. I usually reserve referring people for corneal transplants until they have scarring that makes it too opaque for us to get good vision with a contact lens. So, yep.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, great. Well, look at that. I know a little bit more than I thought I did.
You do. Yeah.
So, okay, then tell me about the NeuroLens. Who's it a good candidate for, and what is it?
Neural lenses have really helped a lot of people, especially now that most of us are spending hours and hours a day on our computer screens. So our eyes just were not designed to maintain that convergence all day. We're meant to look out into the horizon and kind of be outside, but the reality is that that's just not what we do. Most of
Right.
us.
Right.
Most of us. So, neural lenses actually help the eyes work more efficiently and reduce eye strain and headaches for a lot of people.
Oh, okay. And how
Improve
does
your
it
work.
do that?
How does it do that?
Yeah, in general. And who's a good candidate? I mean, if you have decent vision and then you wound up being on your phone and trying to concentrate on that, and then a lot of times I don't know, you tell me, if somebody has decent vision and they're always on their phone or always looking at something and then they try and look further, and is it over time, does it get blurry in general because of what they're doing, or is it you already have an issue and now you need these lenses and stuff?
So yeah, it's probably something that's already a condition that you have, and it could be a combination of your focusing system and your convergence and divergence system of your eyes, just how the eyes work together binocularly. So we do screen everyone when you come in for an eye exam. So we do screen you ahead of time to see, is this something that you actually need, or is there another solution for you?
So what makes the NeuroLens different, and is it a contact?
It is not a contact lens, it's
Okay.
glasses.
Okay.
Yeah, it's glasses. The glasses have a contoured prism. So the prism is a lower amount for when you're looking in the distance and a higher amount for when you're looking at something close to you where you need to turn your eyes in more.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it avoids overcorrecting you for your distance vision, basically.
But it's not like a bifocal or trifocal, or is it?
It is it is not. It is it's a little bit different because it's not just magnifying what you're looking at, it's actually helping your eyes work better together.
Oh, okay. That's
Hmm.
interesting. I know, so personally, I have a love-hate relationship with my eyes in general. And
Oh no.
so, and again, I think I'll make an appointment. And I have And again, I share my personal story just because I know I'm not the only one. But I work on my computer all day. I'm writing the town tidings, I'm working on stuff, and I already had a an issue with distance, and then it was actually getting a little bit better because I was getting to that age where it was kind of coming, right in the middle. But I've been working on my computer more. And so I wound up getting a prescription, and it was like, oh, you need trifocals and stuff. My problem is, my computer isn't necessarily, I mean, it moves a little bit, so it's not right here where a typical reading would be. And, and I know where they put it was closer together. So when you read, your eyes go in or something. And, I was trying my best to work on that, but it doesn't work. And I don't want to, um, accept that my eyes are old and all that stuff. I'm like trying to fight it. I want those prisms again and say, no, I'm good. Because I just hate wearing glasses, and contacts for me just are tough because you got to wash them and stuff. And even if you have the throwaway and everything, it's just, I don't mind. I can poke my eye all day. It's just that, it's the care. And I'm like, well, there's a little bit of this and oh, shoot, so that's like a pain. And my husband's a whiz at it because he's had it most of his life. And so, with the trifocals, it just doesn't work. And my other problem is I have extreme motion sickness in general. So a lot of people don't understand, I know you have to get used to glasses and everything, but anything that's, even trying to do that, if it's off, then I can't function, and then I start getting nauseous, and it could go into a migraine. So, I got a lot of different issues. And what's funny is, I've gone to Costco to get glasses because of cost. Glasses aren't cheap and everything. I cannot use Costco glasses because for some reason they are warped for me. I walk out and I don't wear my glasses enough. Like I'll walk out during the day and I need them mostly for night, but now I need some, pretty much to work and everything, not using any. But, I won't know it until later, like months later, and going, what the heck? I had a pair of prescription sunglasses that I walked around, and, I was getting a little motion sick, and I'm like, what the heck? Well, I take them off, I put them on, and when I'm looking at my deck, it actually looks like it's in one of those movies, where it's going up, and I forget what the movie was called with Leonardo DiCaprio, but if I could remember, everybody would know. And it just distorts things. So here I am walking, and I'm like, I know this deck is level, and it was kind of like goofy. So the cheaper glasses I cannot use.
Yep. I think that in order for Costco to be able to offer the prices that they have, they need to use something that may be an expired technology. Um, and they're able to, it works for a lot of people,
Right.
and they can see well. But it may not be the most comfortable vision for them.
Right.
But it allows them to offer those products at a very affordable price.
Right.
Um, so I do understand the struggle.
Yeah. And especially
Yeah.
like my husband's okay with their glasses, but I am way too sensitive. Again, with the motion sickness and all that stuff. And I'm like, I can tell, I just can't tell right away, again, because I don't wear glasses enough. It's just like, oh my goodness, something's going on. Well, I can't wear those. So walk me through when a patient comes in, you know, what's your process? You have great customer service. They feel like family when they come in, and so you bring them in, and then kind of walk me through when I come in.
When you come in the door, well, before you come in the door, you've probably already spoken to our scheduler on the phone, or she's emailed you. And so the process begins there. I know sometimes I call and make appointments for my own, for my own life, and you're not always greeted the way that you would like to be.
Right.
So we're very conscious of that when people call, because I know I'm sensitive to the fact that when you call to make an appointment for your eyes, that sometimes people are nervous. They're afraid something might be wrong. They're afraid that their vision's getting worse, and they're relying on us to find an answer. So I think that it's important to set people at ease from the beginning. And I think that we do a great job of that. When you come in the door, most people are kind of blown away by how expansive the building is. So they're
Right.
kind of like taken aback a little bit. But my receptionist greets them right away. You're not going to sneak by her. She's gonna notice you. You check in at the front. She lets the technicians know that you're ready. The technicians come and they begin the exam process, the pre-testing. They explain the testing along the way, so you know what instruments are being, what measurements are being taken and why
And what's
they're being
shooting in your
taken.
eyes and not?
So we do not blow the puff of air into your
No.
eye. We haven't done it in 15 years, and I feel really proud of that. We have better
I'm
ways of doing.
dating myself.
Yeah. No, I think that people are really traumatized by that, and it's something that people ask every time they sit down in front of something. Is this going to blow air in my eye? No, we're not going to do that to you. I promise. So we get past that point. Um, they are led through the office to one of the exam rooms. Um, we have to put some information in the computer, of course,
Right.
and then they call the doctors in, and you'll see me, or you'll see Dr. Little or Dr. Selecchia. We actually do the refraction in the exam room with the patients. I know some places have refracting technicians that do that first, but
Right.
the doctors actually like to do our own. We there's a little bit of an art to it, so we take a little bit of ownership of that. We want to make sure that once you get your glasses, you're seeing the way you saw during the exam.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I have an issue with that too. It's like, okay, well, if it was good here, then the glasses or whatever should be good too. And it always cracks me up. You guys go A or B, B or
I
A.
heard too.
And I'm always like, about the same. I don't really know, that always gets me nervous. I'm not really nervous with, doctors and stuff in general, but as you said, as things change, it's scary because
Yeah.
eyesight is really important. And, it's like, when is it, is this something I can control, or is it something that I have to just give up? And, hopefully there's a solution. And sometimes, yeah, it's scary going, all right, my eyesight is changing. I don't know if something will help or not. And hopefully, it is. So I kind of feel like coming in to see you, there's a comfort, and you seem to be the kind of doctor that is like, okay, let's talk about, like, me, I need to understand reasons why, or else my anxiety and my brain just go in crazy directions. But if we're talking and I understand, and you're kind of telling me the mechanics and this and that, and it's like, I get it. I do that like with pain. I have a high pain tolerance, but not if I don't know what the root cause is. And then my brain just goes into all kinds of, oh my God, it's this, that, and the other thing. But if it's like, okay, like cavities and stuff, I don't get Novocaine, and I'm like, hold on, what is this pain? Are you hitting a nerve? Are you hitting this? And when they tell me, I'm like, got it. Okay, let's go. So same thing with, let's talk it out, and let's figure out, because if I understand more, now I can be part of the solution and not just a thorn in your side.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so you seem to be the kind of doctor, maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that will spend a little bit more time with those who kind of need to know a little bit more than just here's the surface information.
Yeah. I think all of the doctors are. I think Dr. Little and Dr. Sluckia both also think it's important to answer questions and make sure you understand the treatment plan, because if you don't, then it isn't going to be successful.
Right. And not
Yeah.
only just the treatment plan, but why we're even going that way.
Why am I in this situation? Yeah.
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 And if there's anything that we can do to, on when we're not there, is there anything we can do to help the situation along with what you recommend and stuff? So we work together for for me as the patient, for my care, for long term, for success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Collaboration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I really like that. If that's what your office pretty much is the root of, who you are as doctors, then that's really special.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the other thing is, what about things like, because I've got now more people in my life with macular degeneration. What are your do you see people with that and
We do see people with that. We're able to diagnose and we'll monitor that. Um, if there's treatment that's necessary, we refer to the retina specialists for sometimes they require injections.
right.
Sometimes we can monitor and all you need is supplements, or the most important thing is going to be protection from sun damage. So sunglasses are a must,
Oh boy.
especially here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. So that is that a direct correlation?
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and then counseling also on lifestyle. So smoking is one of the really big risk factors for macular degeneration as well. So that's a tough one, though. To if somebody is a smoker, to try and help them
Get
stop
off it. Yeah.
smoking, that may require other referrals
Right.
or things like that. So
If it's important enough for them to, the eyesight and that. Yeah, I totally agree. But
yeah,
the bad thing is, like, when I grew up, sunglasses weren't a thing. Now
hmm
it's just like, all these babies and stuff are having glass, and it's cool, and it's a social media moment and all that thing. But when I grew up, I didn't have it. I did have, I was watching my dad when I was maybe 6 or so ish, and he was mowing the lawn, and I was on the deck, and a rock came and hit me right in the eye. So I had a scar back there. You'll see it when you examine me. And I had to wear sunglasses for a while. I had a patch a little bit and sunglasses. And did you know I got teased?
oh, for sunglasses.
Yes, they weren't even regular glasses, and they were Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse or whatever. So that, but back then in the 70s, 80s, that was, I was teased for that. And so of course I didn't want to wear them. And it wasn't something you bought your kids. The
No.
sunglasses were for the adults at that time. So you may have, I wonder, do you have an influx of um Gen Xers coming in with, issues like, macular degeneration more so than any others, or is that not yet showing up?
It is. There's a lot more sun damage here. There's also a genetic component to it as well. So some people may be naturally more predisposed to macular degeneration than others.
Does it matter of your eye color?
People with lighter eyes are more susceptible as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's interesting. So, thank you for educating a
sure.
little bit about that. As I get older, and a lot of my subscribers are, in this area too. So it's going to be helpful to kind of, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it from back then. Just like any other sun damage, it's already done. Now it's the effects and stuff, but what is there anything we could do now other than make sure we continue to protect our eyes?
Yeah, prevention.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is now that we're at a different altitude and you were out gardening and getting your garden ready and stuff, what are some tips that you have for the viewers on eye care now that we're going into, well, I guess it doesn't matter whether it's the warmer summer or winter because we have I know even in the winter, like when I go to shovel, if the sun's out, that glare from the snow is blinding and it's like
Mhm.
I need my sunglasses and you don't think so. So what are some of the tips for, especially in Colorado Springs where we are, our weather and stuff, you know, how can we protect our eyes and what are your suggestions?
Well, I think what you want to really make sure is that you are wearing sunglasses, but that you're wearing sunglasses that have a permanent UV filter. So you want it to actually be built into the lens and come from a reputable source. So it's really tempting to grab these cheap sunglasses from a gas station or like, I don't know, like Target or Walmart, because you can accessorize. But the problem is that a lot of them may have a spray-on coating
Oh,
to protect your eyes against the UV. So you clean the glasses a couple of times and then you just have a dark lens. So
oh,
the problem with that is a dark lens actually dilates the pupil more and lets more harmful light in.
oh
So
wow.
it's important just I think that that's just something to think about when you're shopping for sunglasses because our sun is so harsh here, just to make sure that you know that what you're buying is actually going to have a permanent filter.
Right. And we're all always cleaning our glasses because
They get smudgy.
it's windy, we've got dirt roads, and there's all kinds of stuff going around. I mean, look at our windshields. you know when
Yeah.
we're outside hiking or gardening or just even sitting outside just enjoying, there's a lot of stuff that's blowing around and stuff, so we are doing that. I didn't realize that it was just like a spray on and that there is such a difference. Now I do prefer getting a prescription sunglass just because of my issues, and if I'm going to wear glasses anyway, I might as well get them prescription. So I
Yeah.
would be okay with that because they're prescription and that would be built in.
Yes.
So are there places to buy that aren't necessarily at the clinic or at an eye specialist that actually have it baked in, or is it all the ones that are commercially out there, are they all just coated?
There are some that do have it permanently, and you'd have to really research each brand individually. I think
Yeah.
it's really not a very well regulated industry. So we do any eye care practice you go to, though, I think you can be confident that you're going to be getting sunglasses with a permanent filter. They're not going to be carrying just dark lenses in there. I
Right.
hope.
Right. So your recommendation is, you know, come to the eye care clinic, and whether it's a prescription or not, let's get you the right sunglasses so you're protected if you don't need a prescription, sunglass because of your eyes are okay. Let's still get you quality protection.
Yeah, your eye care provider is going to be the best source for that so that you can be confident that your eyes are protected. And you can even get sunglasses for as little as $40. You don't have to spend $400 if you don't. You can if you
Right.
want. It's fun, but you don't have to.
Right. Well, that's good to know because, like you said, people don't necessarily get sunglasses if they don't need a prescription at, their eye doctor. They go Walmart or, Target or whatever and pick them up. But the biggest thing is now it doesn't matter where you are in your life. Prevention is always necessary. And even though we've done, like, at my age, I've done my damage, let's not make it worse.
Yeah.
So if there's something we can do to make it at least stabilize it, because now we've got the right thing. So one of the any viewers, a takeaway would be, you know, your sunglasses, check them. Where did you get them? And let's figure out. Now, do you believe in the supplements for eye care?
Yeah, I think that I actually take them. I take MacuHealth, and it's a lutein and a zeaxanthin supplement. It supplements the pigment and the macula. The macula is the only place in your retina where you can even see 20/20, but it's just very protective against that, against damage from the sun and as well as damage from our computer screens,
Oh,
the lights from the computer screens. So yeah, I take those, and I also take fish oils. Um, Fish oils are good for you no matter what, but they're especially helpful for people who suffer with dry eyes.
all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially looking at our computers or our phones or whatever. Um, I'm guilty. I have very dry eyes,
Mhm.
and it's just like, all right. But I'm also very sleep deprived too. So I got the, trifecta going or whatever.
Yeah,
So do you have any tips for dry eyes?
I do. We actually offer several dry eye treatments. I mean, I think almost anyone in Colorado has experienced it at one time or another, and some people are really debilitated by it. Our goal is to try and get patients to produce their own tears because those are going to be the best. So we do offer heat therapies in the office that have been very successful. So even some people who have dropped out of using contact lenses because of dry eyes have been able to resume contact lens wear because of that. And then, just we do diagnostic testing to determine which type of dry eyes people have because sometimes it could be an actual tear production problem, but for the majority of us, it's an evaporation issue because of, again, computers. You gotta blame the evil computers.
Right.
But that's the majority of the issue. So we really do make it a goal to try and help people produce their own tears.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. I personally, I subscribe to the thought of anything we can do naturally or
Mm-hmm.
holistically first in any of the health is the best. Let's get to the root of the issue and try and address that and not just throw band-aids on things uh,
Yeah.
for long term. So I like that you have other things and it's not just surgery or a prescription, and you have other options. I've never heard of the heat thing though. What's that?
We use radio frequency on the eyelids, and it actually we're able to. So I don't know if you've ever heard some people will do hot compresses at home on the eyelids to try and heat up the glands, the meibomian glands in the eyelids. Well, that may work for a couple of minutes, but what we found is we need to get that oils much hotter inside the eyelids. So we do in-office heat therapies that way, so we can actually come through and get rid of the clogged glands. We can kind of express the clogged glands in the office and get people feeling better a lot faster that way.
Wow, I've never heard of that before. And like I said, I suffer from a lot of these things. So that is interesting. And again, I'm not the only one. So this is
No.
great education for others that you've been keeping to yourself, Sarah.
Sorry. Well, here I am.
So great. I love it. And do you happen to have, just off the top of your head, a patient success story about your, like one of your toughest cases, and then you've been able to help and what that looked like? I know I'm putting you on the
Um,
spot.
I'm like thinking about so many different people. You mean just as far as dry eyes or as
No,
far
just
as
anything.
anything?
What was your toughest case in all your years, and that you were so happy and they were so happy because you were able to make a huge difference because they came to see you?
I see a lot of these, which is really cool. It's really exciting for me, and it's really it can be really emotional too for patients because you will sometimes have people in a situation where they cannot pass their driver's license test or things like that,
Yeah.
because they can't even see well enough with glasses, like maybe somebody like your husband, um, so he couldn't see that well with glasses, but fitting contact lenses, and they're able to get their driver's license, get to work. And so it's kind of just little it's not a little thing though to that patient, because it's their way, it's their livelihood basically that you're affecting in that situation. So I don't know, I can't think of an isolated one, because there are, it's kind of something that we do on a daily basis.
And it's the
So
little things. It's not necessarily a huge issue that they came in with. What we see, it's even the smallest changes could make a huge difference as far as our ability. And then if you can help us with that, that's a huge thing. So I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I
I'm
just thought if
I
there
can't
was
say names either.
no, 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 I wouldn't ask you
No.
to say
Yeah.
names. But
Yeah.
there's throughout the years, I know that you're proud of what you do, and there's, that good feeling knowing that you are helping others and it's making a huge difference in their life. In return, their life is much better, and they're making difference in other people's lives. So it's a
It
ripple
trickles
effect that
down.
you're touching.
Yeah.
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 So that's kind of, what I was wondering. And for you, if you're doing it daily, then thank you
Yeah.
for all
It's
of that.
great.
And now I'll just have pretty much the last point, and this is a sticking point. Our economy is crazy now, and everything is going up and all that. Well, I know with me, I've had certain eye doctors that our insurance changed with my husband's work and stuff. And so we don't get a choice of insurance. It's basically you either take eye insurance or you don't, and then you just take what they give you. You don't have anything. Well, who we usually go to no longer or doesn't take our insurance. So, what do you guys, as far as insurance, are you pretty limited or are you pretty open? I know there's out of network, which again, that's, it's doable, but everything's so expensive. So, how's your office with what insurance you take in general?
We take we take a huge list of insurances.
Perfect.
Yeah, we actually have it posted on our website. So we have the vision plans and the medical plans that we take. And then if for some reason we aren't taking the insurance, we have payment plans, or we have actually like you would call it a discount for the same day payment. So it would be a cash payment. So we have a discount.
Okay, so if you need to use a credit card, that wouldn't apply. You would have to bring a check or cash.
No, you can use a credit card.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Well,
yeah.
good. Those are great options because, it's just tough. And then,
I
people are
know.
are trying to figure out, okay, do I go see the eye doctor? Or do I get my groceries? Or, even if I see my eye doctor and I get that, now I got to get glasses. And if they don't go to a cheap, place to get it, um, that could be a couple months worth of your heating bill. It could be your mortgage or something, it's gone kind of crazy with the pricing, and then everything's added. Oh, the lens is this, and then the glare resistant is, another $80, and then, this is another 100 and something, whatever, and it adds up, and it's like, holy cow, I got to take out a little loan just to pay for my glasses. So,
A lot of medical expenses are like that.
right.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yes. So it's good that you have a variety. So, I know a lot have dwindled down, and it's just like this plan only or these two plans. And for some reason, companies aren't choosing those. It's like, okay, we don't have that. You got this, and it gets crazy. So, I appreciate that you guys care enough and put more burden on you as the clinic to take that and go through the red tape for us so you can go ahead and accept more insurances. So that shows that you care even more, so that you will add an additional headache on your side so the rest of us can choose you.
There's a couple extra steps, but that's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can people find you?
Well, you can go to our website. You can call
What's the website?
um, icarecs.com.
Okay. And then do you remember the phone number offhand?
Yeah, 719-576-5844. I've been saying that for 15 years.
There you go.
um, we have Instagram, we have Facebook. I don't know. I think we might have a TikTok. I'm not totally sure because I don't have TikTok, but I think we have that. So,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Well, I appreciate you taking time from your day off to talk with me and get some of the information. You've shared some great stuff that I know that my subscribers and viewers will both learn from. And that is really important for me in general, that people get information, learn things, and be able to do things for themselves to make their lives better. And so you've given us some great tips, but also to come in and see you. And anybody who is nervous, their eyesight has changed, something's going on, I think you've allowed us to feel comfortable calling and making an appointment and then coming to see you.
I'm glad.
Yeah. So is there anything that we missed that you'd like anybody to know?
I, well, um, if you like animals, you can request to have Toro do your eye exam. He comes with me almost every day. So,
He's is that
he,
is that a picture of him behind you? A
oh
painting?
no, that's just a dog.
Okay.
I don't know, I think he's sleeping in my bed.
Okay. So, and what kind of dog is he?
He's a husky mix. He's black and white. He's on the website, so he's a chief morale officer. So,
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
I love that. So that's we get some animal therapy.
I do think there's just something really calming about having a sleeping dog in the room while you're having your eye exam. I think it just kind of puts some people at ease. So
Right.
it's kind of
Right.
nice. Yeah.
Actually, I see a tail.
Oh, well, that's a different one. That he
Okay.
doesn't, he's not allowed. He has got the puppy energy. He doesn't come to work.
Gotcha.
He's
He
in
doesn't.
training.
I got you. But that was funny that we were talking about dogs and the whole interview. I didn't see any, and now I'm seeing this tail.
I know. He's like, I heard my name.
Did somebody say dog?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's something unusual too. So, hey, if you want to get your eye exam and what Toro and go see Toro, come on in. Or if you just walk in, you're just around the area and you want to go see Toro, come on in.
On in. Yeah, I have some patients at this point that if I do leave Toro at home to have a day off, I get in really big trouble with the patients.
I got it.
Sorry.
Interesting. Great.
Yeah.
So, okay. If anybody watching needs to get their eyes checked, make sure you go to see Sarah. It, it's Dr. Sara Johnson, but because, your family, you can call her Sarah, you can call her Dr. Johnson, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Just don't call her late for dinner. And go ahead and check out their website, the eyecarecentercs.com, and make an appointment. It looks like it's a fairly easy place. You don't have to pay for parking or anything, right?
No, we have our own parking lot.
Yeah,
Yep.
perfect. If you're looking for an eye doctor, go see Sarah and come on back next week and we'll have another spotlight. So, thank you.
Thank you.